The Dallas Cowboys are coming off another disappointing season in 2022, coming up just short of a big playoff run once again. However, they started this offseason by making some pretty big moves. Firstly, adding a brand new star corner to play alongside Trayvon Diggs and Stephon Gilmore. And then next, they traded for another big-time wide receiver in Brandon Cooks, one of the league's most slept-on wide receivers in the entirety of the NFL, and he continues to prove his worth each and every single year. Now, with that being said, they weren't able to actually sign too many free agents at all, but were actually forced to add in this draft. And personally, I think the Cowboys did a great job adding talent in this draft, not only for the future, but for right now as well. In this video, I'll be breaking down the entirety of the Cowboys 2023 NFL draft class and why they can shock the world next season. However, before we jump into the video, make sure you guys smash that like button. It helps out the channel so much. So let's get the video up to 400 likes. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I will be covering the Cowboys and the rest of the NFL all year long, so join the family. And one last thing, comment down below, who do you think is the biggest sleeper in this year's 2023 draft class for the Dallas Cowboys? Without any further ado, let's jump right into today's video. Now, coming into the draft, we knew the Cowboys' biggest needs were along the interior of the defensive line, linebacker, and also the running back depth was kind of questionable as well. But we also knew that they wanted to target a wide receiver at some point in this draft as well. But the good news is that the Cowboys made these positions a priority and addressed them fairly quickly. With their first-round pick, they wanted to go out and attack that interior of the defensive line, and they wasted no time stealing a nose tackle in Mazi Smith. And Dallas needed someone to come in, and he immediately helped this team in terms of stopping the run, and this addition does exactly that. At Michigan, Mazi Smith was actually known for being one of the best, if not the best, run stoppers in the entirety of college football, as well as being insanely effective at stopping the run. He also possesses some insane athleticism and traits that give him top-tier potential at the position. I will say we don't know how good he will be when it comes to getting to the quarterback, but the Cowboys seem to believe he'll be able to do it fairly well. In my opinion, this was a huge upgrade for the Cowboys and the entire defense going forward. In the second round of this draft, they also decided to fill a hole at tight end since Dalton Schultz decided to leave in free agency. And again, they were blessed because this was one of the deepest tight end drafts in a while, and they got themselves a really solid guy here in Luke Schoonmaker. To be honest, I personally like Luke over Dalton Schultz in this offense anyway. He's younger, he's more athletic, and he also adds a new element in the tight end group, being able to block very well. A versatile tight end is on his way to Dallas to potentially be a day one starter, but he will have to compete it out with Jake Ferguson. Comment down below, who do you think will win the starting job for the Dallas Cowboys at tight end? Do you think it's going to be Jake Ferguson? Do you think it's going to be Luke Schoonmaker? Do you think it could be Peyton Hendershot? Let me know in the comment section down below who you think will eventually win that job. Now, like we said earlier in the video, linebacker was starting to become a position of need for the Cowboys, so in the third round, they fixed that. They went out and decided to draft one of my favorite linebackers, Texas linebacker Demarion Overshown. An absolute dog linebacker who can make an impact right away on this defense. He has elite coverage potential. If he can just develop a little bit, dude, this guy could be a monster on defense. He's converted from safety linebacker, so we already know he can play multiple different positions on this defense. I don't know if he's going to be a day one starter, but I think he has the ability to compete for a day one job. But if he's not a day one starter, I do believe that he can make an impact on special teams as a rotational piece. But either way, I think this is going to be a huge addition for the Dallas Cowboys. He's amazing in coverage. He had, 332 coverage snaps in 2022, and he allowed 0 touchdowns. Listen, we already know he's a versatile player, athletic player, who the Cowboys got in the third round, and personally, I love the player, but like I said, he does need a little bit more of development, but overall, a solid build with tremendous upside. Now, in the fourth round, the Cowboys wanted to continue to get better in stopping the run, and they did that by adding a guy, Viliami Fehoko Jr., and he could do just that. He could stop the run, but even though he's one of the best run stoppers coming out of this draft at end, he's also very productive at getting to the quarterback as well. He had 9 sacks and 19 tackles for a loss last season, which is unbelievable. He also won Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year and will try to bring that same style of play to the Dallas Cowboys. However, one interesting thing to note is that the Cowboys wanted to beef him up. They want him to beef up and become more of a defensive tackle, which I think is interesting. I'm not sure how that's going to work. He's a 4th-round pick. He's, a defensive end. I like him at defensive end, but I guess they do have a lot of depth with DeMarcus Williams and, Michael Parsons could play a little bit edge rusher. So maybe they just want to get a little bit more beefy in the middle of the line. So I guess I do get it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think he should stick at D-end behind DeMarcus Lawrence and Sam Williams, or do you think they should convert him to defensive tackle with Mazi Smith and, Jonathan Hankins and a couple of those guys, Neville Gallimore? Let me know what you guys think. We'll see if that ends up happening. Now, before we finish off the last 3 selections from the Dallas Cowboys draft, do me a favor, smash that like button if you're enjoying the video so far. Comment down below who you're most excited about seeing play in 2023, whether it's a second-year player, a rookie, a new signing, or whoever it may be. Let me know who you guys are excited to see next year for the Cowboys. But let's get back into the video. Now, moving into the 5th round, Dallas decided to go back to the offensive side of the ball, adding a depth player here, but also a potential future starter, an offensive tackle / guard, Asim Richards. Now, Asim is a tackle in college, or was a tackle at college, but he can definitely move into the interior of the line, and he just has that versatility. Now, I'm guessing that most likely he's going to come over to Dallas and add interior depth to the line. I don't think he's going to play, tackle. They have Tyron Smith, they have Terrence Steele, who look like they're solidified out the as a tackles. But I do think Asim Richards can come and add depth in the interior at left guard behind Tyler Smith, or even a backup behind Zach Martin. I do think that's where he'll primarily get most of his work in the preseason and minicamp and training camp. But let me know if you guys think otherwise. I do think it's going to be a wait for him to get onto the field, but I do think eventually he's shown the flashes and the potential to maybe be a starter, maybe in the future. We'll see what happens. But I do like this pick for the Cowboys. I'm not sure how much of an impact he'll play right away, but like I said, in the future, I do think this guy can get or be a solid player for them. Now, in the 6th round, they got Eric Scott Jr., a cornerback out of Southern Miss. Listen, he's their 6th-round pick. And this was a big-time player of want for the Dallas Cowboys because they traded up to select him. Trading a 2024 5th-round pick, Scott's a guy who wasn't expected to go this early, and I know it's a 6th round, but the Cowboys, in fact, had the utmost confidence in Eric Scott Jr. However, as a 6th-round pick, it's not a given that he's going to even make the 53-man roster, so he'll need to make a name for himself in minicamp and training camp, rookie camp, preseason. He's going to have to make a name for himself if he wants to land on the regular season roster and if he wants to stay off the practice squad. Considering that they traded up for him tells me that he might make a name. He might make some noise in the preseason, but if he doesn't, it's probably going to be practice squad for Eric Scott Jr., but who knows? We'll see how he does in the preseason. Now, Dallas had another 6th-round pick, and man, do I love this one. And as we all know, Ezekiel Elliott is currently a free agent, and we don't know his status. We don't know if he'll re-sign and potentially be a Cowboy on a lesser deal. But for the time being, the Cowboys had a hole at running back that needed to be addressed, leading the Cowboys to select running back Deuce Vaughn. The son of Cowboys scout Chris Vaughn is now going to work with his father each and every single day. This was an amazing draft storyline, but don't get it twisted. Deuce Vaughn is a phenomenal running back that deserved to be picked in this draft, and he has shown flashes of excellence. He is only 5'5", 175 pounds, but he was one of the best running backs in the country, rushing for over 1,500 yards and 9 touchdowns, while also bringing in 3 receiving touchdowns as well. Vaughn is quick, he's elusive, and he's very fun to watch. I would not be surprised if he became a fan favorite over here in Dallas for years to come. Moving on to their final pick of the draft, the Dallas Cowboys decided to go to a position of need in wide receiver, taking a shot on wide receiver Jalen Brooks. Now, everyone thought they would have addressed wide receiver before the 7th round, but clearly they had other plans. Brooks has an uphill battle to fight for a roster spot going forward. At South Carolina, he had just 58 catches for 785 yards and 2 touchdowns, and I believe 3 seasons of play. But the upside is probably his size. He's 6'2" and provides a solid frame as a wide receiver. So I like the pick in terms of upside, but I don't know how much of a threat he'll be in the first season or maybe 2 seasons. I'm not really too sure how much he's going to play. But with that being said, I love a bunch of players that the Cowboys added throughout this draft period and the trade season. I love the moves they have made. I truly do believe this team, the way it's put together right now, can definitely make some noise next season. Now, I mean, let's just read this roster. Let's just look at some of the guys that they have. Obviously, you got CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, the newly acquired Brandon Cooks. You got Viliami Fehoko. You got Jalen Tolbert, the former third-round pick. Still got Kevontae Turpin, one of the biggest threats when he has the ball in his hands. Kevontae Turpin was amazing. You drafted Jalen Brooks. Still got Dennis Houston, a guy who looked good last preseason. Detario Drummond, who I like. But from there, the offensive line looks good. Looking to improve again next year. They look really good there. You got Jake Ferguson. You got Luke Schoonmaker, Peyton Hendershot. I think those 3 tight ends can all compete for a solid role, but look for Luke Schoonmaker to really make a mark on this team in 2023. Obviously, Dak Prescott's got to step up next year and make a big impact on this team going forward. You got Malik Davis, you got Deuce Vaughn, Ronald Jones, who they brought over from Kansas City. I like that. And then when we look at the defense is looking even better as well. You still got DeMarcus Lawrence, you got Mazi Smith, you got Jonathan Hankins, Neville Gallimore, Viliami Fehoko Jr., Sam Williams, Micah Parsons, Dante Fowler, Tack McKinley, Lane Vander Esch, Damone Clark, Jabril Cox, Demarion Overshown. This team is loaded. This team is absolutely loaded. And then at DB, they've pretty much changed or added a brand new cornerback in Stephon Gilmore. We still look at Trayvon Diggs and Jordan Lewis. You see Deron Bland, who is a very underrated player last year, looking to break out here this year. Nashawn Wright. You still got Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker. Dude, if you look up and down this roster, it is absolutely loaded. I am feeling really good about this Dallas Cowboys 2023 season. I feel like they can make a lot of noise in the playoffs if they can just as long as they can stay healthy. I feel like if they make the playoffs, they can be a dark horse to actually win it all. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think the Cowboys made a major impact or a major uptick in performance and additions? Do you think they got better this offseason, or do you think they still need to go out and make some moves? If you think they do need to make some more moves, where do you think they need to make some moves? Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.